So I want to share with you 5 things I wish I had known before I started my photography business. And let's kick things off with number 1, and that is the ability to take feedback and rejection professionally, not personally. I can remember I went from taking photos of the sunset and sunrise at my local beach and posting those photos on Instagram if I liked them, to going and shooting cafes, restaurants, gyms, and outdoor workout sessions. So it was quite the jump, and the first time I went and shot, everything was sent over, and then I got some feedback and I took that super personally. I don't know why, but for some reason I saw red. I instantly hated the client. I thought they hated my work. They had no creative vision whatsoever. And all they wanted was a few little adjustments on the edits, and that was it. Now, don't get me wrong, I was like 17 at this point, so probably still fairly immature, but I took this super personally when I should have taken it professionally. They weren't saying to me, Zach, you're a bad photographer or a bad photo editor. They're telling me, Zach, we just want it to look a little bit different so it suits our style. So the first time that you go out and take photos for a client, or the second or even the third time you go out and take photos for a client, make sure that when they have revisions, you take it professionally. You understand where they're coming from, and you understand that any revision or feedback isn't an attack on if you're a good or bad photographer. It's purely just making sure that the content that they're paying you for completely aligns with them and what their vision was, because at the end of the day, you're there to serve them, not create some passion project. All right, keep that in mind. Next up on the list is to have a plan at what industry you are going to target. I see so many people make this mistake. They shoot everything. Someone calls them up, hey, can you shoot my cafe? Yep, no worries, I'll be there tomorrow. Hey, can you come and shoot some wildlife? Yep, I'll be there tomorrow. Can you shoot this? Can you shoot that? And while in the beginning, you've pretty much got to say yes to nearly every single opportunity that comes to the door, as you mature and as your business starts to grow, you really want to focus in on one area and one niche. And that is because you want to become the go-to guy, if you will, in that area. Whether that's in your local region or on a global scale, you want to be known as the guy or girl who absolutely nails that industry and niche, and this is where you're really going to start to fly. Now, it's going to take a little while for you to understand and work out what you actually really enjoy shooting professionally, but once you do, focus in and absolutely crush that. You want to make sure that you have space to grow. You want to make sure that you're not just going to be stuck always shooting with low-end budgets and lower-end clients, and you want to make sure you can start progressing. And the best way that you can start progressing is to make sure you're focusing in on one specific area and one specific niche. If you're super passionate about taking outdoor nature photos and you love exploring, maybe shooting for adventure e-commerce products is probably up your alley. And if you become really, really good at that, you can climb the ranks from tiny little e-commerce brands to giant brands like the North Face or Kathmandu, for example. And that way you can scale through and really start to nail your photography work. All right, next up on the list is proof of good work. There are so many reasons why you need a good portfolio, but I would say by far one of the most important reasons that you need a good portfolio to be able to show what you can do for clients is to make sure that the client trusts you. When a client hires someone, it's to save time, money, and energy. And if they know and they can trust that you can do a good job because they've seen the past work you've done for other clients, then it's a no-brainer hire. It's easier to sell your services to them and also get the budget that you want. But if there's any kind of hesitation, if the client can't see exactly what they want to see, if you can't show your past work professionally and the client that you're trying to land might seem a little bit put off, chances are you're not going to be able to get the budgets you want, or you might not even get hired in the first place. Make sure that you have a really solid portfolio before you go trying to promise clients the absolute world. Now, of course, it's very much so easier said than done to build a solid portfolio. However, if you are just getting started in the world of client work with photography and you need to start building up a portfolio, but you don't understand what came first or what came second, I'm going to walk you through everything that you need to know inside of my beginner's photography business course. Once again, that's linked down below. All right, number 4, the ability to deliver professionally and on time. This is a mix of what platform you use to deliver your photos and your business skills and time management, communication, all wrapped up in one. If you don't have clear communication and your work ethic is a little bit meh, then chances are, regardless of how good your photos are, there's gonna be a little hesitation if your client is trying to hire you again in the future, which of course is far from ideal. And then on the platform side of things, if you are using some weird platform where the client can't either leave comments on photos or not even leave comments on photos, just can't see the photos, or it takes ages for them to download, that's also gonna be a little bit of a red flag. So using a platform like Dropbox or Google Drive, really even just on a basic level, they're gonna be your best friends and they're gonna be super easy for you to use and send over your work to clients. Over time, your communication and business skill will develop. So don't stress if you're not a master communicator right now, but I will give you a little heads up. Especially when you're working in a creative business, making sure that you have clear communication about what needs to be delivered and at what time is very important. If that's the only thing you take from this video, then I've probably helped you out. All right, and last but not least is the ability to invoice correctly. I don't know how I made this mistake countless times when I was starting out. You would think you would make a mistake once and learn from it, but me, apparently not. However, when you're invoicing, you need to make sure that you've got certain things on your invoice so you can get paid on time and get paid in general. Now, depending on what country you're from or even what state you're in, especially maybe in the US, that's gonna depend on what you need to include on your invoice. So all you could do is head over to Google and type in, for example, Australian invoice requirements. And that's gonna show you that you need, the company or business name, the address, and then a tax number, and then maybe even another tax number if you're from Europe or the US. I'm not 100% sure about every single country and region's invoicing templates. However, a quick Google search and you can be sorted. The first time I sent an invoice to a client, I actually had a little book that was like a receipt book, and I physically wrote an invoice and then went and delivered it to them. I went to their office and dropped it off, and I'd missed their tax number that I needed to include. So I had to screw that one up and then write it out again in front of them. And yeah, that was a little bit embarrassing, I can't lie. However, as I've progressed in business and worked with clients from all around the world, I've always made sure to include every single thing that is required to make sure I can get paid accurately and on time. And by the way, I've completely scrapped the whole manually writing out an invoice. I think everyone should do that. And I now use a platform called invoicegenerator.com. It's not sponsored, but it is a free platform, which is super, super handy. And they make things so easy when you're sending an invoice to make sure that you can get paid. All right, guys, and that is gonna wrap up today's video. If you've learned something, let me know what it was in the comments down below. These are 5 things I wish I had have known when I started my photography business, and that would have helped me out so much. Once again, if you wanna do yourself a favor, go and check out my beginner's photography business course down below. I will teach you absolutely everything, nothing hidden. Everything is gonna be on the table for you to learn and actually start a profitable business. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.